Hi folks, today we're going to be talking about an old Kent Beck note called Bits, Clumps and Just Right. But first, are you sitting comfortably? Good, let's begin. So this is going to take in things like loose coupling, tight cohesion, monoliths and microservices, stuff you would have heard about and maybe not even thought about. One of the most common moves as a software designer is to take what was one element and divide it into two or more connected elements. Some separations are helpful and others are not. Here is a framework for evaluating partition decisions. On one axis, we have whether the design is partitioned. Is the logic broken into subroutines? Is the object broken into helper objects? Is the service broken into sub-services? So that's this area here, separated yes or no. On the other axis, we have whether the elements can be reasoned about separately. Is the performance critical portion of the logic localized? Are side effects contained within an element? So that's the other axis up here. Can be reasoned about separately, yes or no. On the top left, we have the modular design. We have divided the element, and now when we want to reason about the performance or the reliability or proposed changes, we can look at one element and ignore the other. So that's up here in this corner. On the bottom right is a big element, but one which we must reason about as a whole. Since we have to reason about it as a whole, though, it's better to keep it in one place. And who knows, maybe the next shower will deliver the insight we need to partition it. So that's over here, this big lump. Can be reasoned about separately, no. Separated, no. On the bottom left is an element that could be partitioned but wasn't. Every time we change it, we pay the price. We have to look around to see what subset needs to be changed, and then we have to look around again to fallibly figure out what unanticipated side effects we might have caused. So that's over here, this sort of cloudy, blobby thing here. On the top right is the worst situation, an element that needs to be reasoned about as a whole that has been split. You see this with functions where the author has clearly been given a line limit. Okay, these 50 lines go here and these 50 go there. Now the price of change goes even higher. You have to figure out if one or both elements needs to be modified, and you have to understand their irrational relationship. So that is over here. The worst place to be. So if you think about how this might match up with not only your code, but your architecture in general, the monolith is this large blob in the bottom right. Your microservices are supposed to be these loosely coupled, tightly cohesive little chunks in the top left. More likely, they're these things. And this is not where you want to be. If you have to deploy two of your microservices at the same time, especially if you need to do them as that set but in a particular order, or if when you deploy a microservice you end up having to change 100 others before you can really use it, you're in this top corner. You're in the worst place possible. You've got changes that affect other things so often they should all just be put together again, probably. Or you should work to actually genuinely loosely couple them and get back over here. So you've got a choice there. You either put them together back into a monolith and then start modularizing, and then you might be able to separate them out again. Or you can work on systems like event-driven architecture that means an event comes into a service. It has a few side effects, like maybe writing to a database, and then it publishes another event, and that's it. It doesn't know about its co-conspirators. It doesn't know what's being done with the events it publishes. It doesn't know where the events came from. It just knows how to react to a given event. And that is the key to loosely coupling your microservices, and you're probably not doing that right now. So go back, have a think about why you even have microservices in the first place. And here's a hint. Because everybody else is doing it is not a good answer. Go back, figure out which direction you need to take them to get back to a place that you can make easy changes and work towards that. Then click like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you again later.